Monday Night Raw, Monday Night Raw. 25 years of Monday Night Raw. Welcome to the 25th anniversary of this Monday Night Raw review, the 25-year anniversary show, and a lot has happened on this show tonight. There was a lot. I'll say this right here. Number one, you're gonna see a very large nostalgia trip, lots of returns, legends coming back to this company. But did the show make it good itself, or did it drag along throughout the night after pretty much I thought one was mostly the best thing out of the show, and I'll get to that in a minute. Because they haven't, let me just make this thing clear, they have not done a good job of building the Royal Rumble, especially the match itself in a way. Both Royal Rumble matches, both men and women's, especially the women's one. But with 25 years of Monday Night Raw, they were live from both the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, and the Manhattan Center in pretty much New York itself, as they were. And his thing, I'm gonna get through more of this of the show, because we did switch back in between Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler at the Manhattan Center, and Michael Cole, Corey Graves, and Booker T at the Barclays Center. But we first kicked it off with Stephanie and Shane McMahon in the ring as they welcome everybody to the 25th anniversary of Raw. Shane McMahon thanked everybody from the wrestlers, employees, production crew, cameramen, everyone for making Raw the success that it is. If you've been watching since the beginning, or you're a new viewer, then Shane said thank you to everybody. But as Stephanie pretty much says, the man that made all this happen, Vince McMahon, as he got a big pop. Surprised, I didn't think Vince would get that big of a pop, but he did. People were singing his song, his theme song, and as Vince came out, he did his strut. He hugged his family, his kids, Shane and Stephanie, and Vince says 25 years, and it's amazing. The fan said, pretty much says thank you, Vince, but Vince kind of told him to stop, and Stephanie says, Vince was a little hard here. They're saying thank you, and he says, I don't usually smell roses, but as she smelled them for once, he was about to go away, but Stephanie stopped them, and they wanted to give him a plaque from a GoFundMe page they've made up, a commemorative plaque, and Vince looked very unimpressed, saying this feels kind of cheap. But we are in Brooklyn, so Vince just pretty much turning and straight up heel Vince right now, and talked about the plaque that's in fans' teeth and clogs their arteries, and all those hot dogs they suck down, and you all want to be thanking me. I deserve better. I did all this. Not me. Wasn't my family or the production truck. I made this. As the fans chanted asshole. It felt like a 1990 episode of Monday Night Raw in the Attitude Era. And, I didn't need anyone but me. And as he said that, the glass breaks. Next thing you know, Stone Cold Steve Austin comes out. Austin, humongous, tremendous pop, middle fingers to the ropes, which they try to block that out in a way by putting the camera close to him. And as he was in the ring, he looked at Vince, as Vince said don't encourage him. Stephanie was already gone, and Vince pretty much said, it's been a long time we've been in the ring together, but things have changed. You look great, but Mother Nature's not been good to me. I'm a senior citizen. I got an ARP, and I've got arthritis and a heart murmur. I live in a retirement community, which you can't hear on the show every week, though. I'm a senior citizen now. And he said, Shane's in his prime, which Shane said no, and Austin pretty much shook his hand and held, Shane McMahon's hand up, and then he stunned him. Stone Cold Stunner, and pretty much Vince says, I don't blame you. He had it coming. And as Vince had some beers for Austin, they had a beer, they toasted, and then they hugged each other. But as Austin kept looking at him and Vince kept talking, people chanted what? Austin hit him with a stunner, and which it had to be done. He stunned him, and then he pretty much tried to toast with Shane, but he stunned Shane in with another Stone Cold Stunner. Listen, the whole thing was great. Okay, listen, Vince is like, 70 or something, but listen, watching that made me feel like I was watching an episode of Raw from 1999 or 2000 in the Attitude Era. And Austin just hitting that stunner was great. This whole segment, the whole beginning of this segment was just insane. Alright. Vince healing up the crowd. I just felt like I was watching an old episode of Raw at one point. But the pop for Austin was insane. It was great. You know, I just loved it. Okay, I can't say nothing bad about that. I marked out, and I'm sure a lot of you marked out at home when you saw that. But this is where I felt this show kind of peaked in a way at one point. And then, when we get after something so great, we go to another women's tag match. Instead of a 6-women tag match, we had an 8 women's tag match with Asuka, Bayley, Sasha, and Mickie James versus Nia Jax, Alicia Fox, Sonya Deville, and Mandy Rose, which went way too long. Paige was at ringside. We went through 3 commercial breaks until we came back to the final one with Sasha hitting a bank statement. I do not. The match was kind of okay, but I'm so tired of these 8 6-women tag matches. I just don't care. Okay, and pretty much mostly noteworthy after it was Asuka pretty much beating up her teammates after the match and pretty much busts on the kick out of them and throwing them all out of the ring. So the crowd did pop for Asuka after that. You know, at least making the Rumble seem a little bit more important, but I just don't care about these women's tag matches. It went too long and the crowd did not care. Kurt Angle was in the back, made sure we didn't have any incident tonight with this whole Kane, Strowman, and Lesnar thing. Next thing you know, the coach comes back. So hugs ankle, then Harvey Whippleman and Brooklyn Brawler come out. Teddy Long comes in, he got a big pop. Bruce Pritchard himself, Brother Love, he got a real big pop. And the Boogeyman got a big pop also. So we had a lot of rapid fire legend appearances come in. So that was really great. So I did enjoy that, just for them showing up. As we went back to the Manhattan Center then, which I believe this whole crowd, and listen, we only went back to Manhattan Center probably like 2-3 times tonight, and most of what you probably saw was literally 2 or 3 segments, and I'm sure this crowd was probably watching Raw through a screen all night as Undertaker showed up. Undertaker got a little bit more of an old school gear, not the usual hat and jacket and gloves as usual, which like everybody on Twitter just kept saying he left it all in Mania. But the Undertaker was here. He had an old school outfit kind of this time. Fans chanted "Holy shit" as he talked about the sacred evil of a person who was digging holes and taking souls, and legends. He just took him off their pedestal and threw him into the cold, dark earth. He just taking out people like Stone Cold, Mick Foley, Kane, and they've all answered to the Reaper. They have tried to face the Undertaker, but they have failed. And now on this sacred ground, he declares to the fallen that it's truly time that they will rest in peace. Which, I don't know. Listen, we didn't hear a lot from Undertaker here. I knew he wasn't retiring. I'm sure people are going to go and say something like that, but I already knew that wasn't happening. It just wasn't, okay? Undertaker was here. I'm surprised that, well, at least they gave the Manhattan Center something big, okay? Because I know they wanted to do from both venues, but I just thought Undertaker was just going to show up in the Barclays Center. But Undertaker showed up here. Some people think he was going to come to the Barclays Center tonight, but no. By the way, Howard Finkel was the announcer tonight over there also. But I don't know. I don't know much to say from the whole Undertaker thing. He was here. It was great to see him. He looked better than he did at Mania. He looked way more in shape, I'll say that also. I don't know who his next opponent will be for WrestleMania, but I knew he wasn't retiring. I already kind of knew that. But Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler kind of questioned what he meant by that and what Undertaker's next move is going to be. But at least the Manhattan Center had something other than just watching the show. APA was in the building, in the back in their office, playing cards with Slater and Rhino until, they was playing for some money till the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, showed up putting a stack of money to the ground on the table. Next thing you know, JoJo introduced the general managers of Monday Night Raw, John Laurinaitis, which he was booed, William Regal, good reaction. Well, we see Regal on NXT, so there was NXT champs, and Eric Bischoff got a big pop, and Daniel Bryan showed up, which the people chanted yes and shook hands with everybody. until the Miz and them came out as he had a stare down with Daniel Bryan as Miz was about to go against Roman Reigns for the Intercontinental Championship. Reigns was booed. Listen, I don't know about this match. This is where, like I said, this show, I'll say right here, this show kind of peaked after Austin match. After what Austin and Vince did. This match, yeah, the Miz Taraji got involved, and Miz won after Reigns hit his head into the turnbuckle, the exposed one, which when they showed the replay, Miz was doing, Miz had kind of unscrewed the turnbuckle as, how can I say, yeah, Miz Taraj was distracting Reigns and he unhooked it, and when he knocked Reigns into it, he hit a skull crushing finale and won. Listen, I'm not really on board for another Miz title reign. I'm really not. I honestly don't really kind of care also. It's just kind of there to be there. What is this, 8, 9 times? Listen, I know people really thought Reigns was gonna, I don't know, become double champion at, which I actually kind of thought also at WrestleMania he's going to be the Intercontinental Champion, he's going to be the Universal Champion, he gets double the titles, but no, and yeah, they protected Reigns here and stuff, so some people think, was Roman going to win the Royal Rumble and face Brock? Because we know he's going to face Brock in Mania. He's going to main event it. We've been knowing that for months, so we know it's going to happen. So yeah, and you know, people now think since Miz won, is he going to face Daniel Bryan for the title? If Daniel Bryan even wrestles at WrestleMania, to be honest, or if he leaves the, people already think he's leaving the company already soon enough when his contract ends. But I don't know. Listen, I know the Reigns shouldn't have been champion to begin with, and I would have dropped it to Samoa Joe. But Miz, I just kind of rolled my eyes. I didn't care. So I just don't really see why. Next thing you know, APA was in the back, and we saw Jeff Hardy there, MVP, and Usos playing cards also. So MVP and Jeff were there. Christian did the peep show as Christian introduced, you know, he was a 9-time champion, and you know Edge wasn't there since a prior obligation, so there was no Edge and Christian. We got Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan as Jason Jordan got booed out the building, of course. Talking about the legends as Jordan talked about his father, but you know, people booed at him. Sheamus and Cesaro came out and talked about, it's not Angle that sucks, they kind of sang Kurt Angle's song "You Suck," but to Jason Jordan. Next thing you know, Jordan and Rollins kind of go at the bar, suicide dive, and as Jordan held Cesaro's, Rollins about to hit a flying knee, but he missed, which I don't know, everybody says Jordan's going to turn heel soon enough and betray Rollins, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah. Next thing you know, Alexa Bliss talked about the Royal Rumble, saying she will still be champion at WrestleMania. Next thing you know, how can I say, Charlotte showed up, talking about, you know, I would be the Raw Women's Champion right now if I wasn't on SmackDown. And next thing you know, Ric Flair shows up. And, you know, Bliss may be the champion tonight, but Charlotte will become the champion at WrestleMania, after WrestleMania, until she decides to hang up her robe. And Rick and Charlotte are woo together. Good to see Ric Flair back. Glad to see he's doing better a little more and more, you know, after the whole health scare many months ago. But, you know, it's really glad to see Ric Flair's doing better. I just played the Edge package. APA was still playing cards with titles worldwide, and Natalia and Slater was losing a lot of money. And this is where I don't get. We go back to the Manhattan Center. Matt Hardy went against Bray Wyatt, and God, why did this match happen here? I would have saved this at the Rumble. This like had no build coming into this match, and Bray Wyatt beats Matt Hardy. What the fuck was that shit? Seriously. I know Matt Hardy would probably get payback, but this was just... But he beat Matt Hardy clean, too. I said, what the fuck was that? Seriously, and some people wonder, is Vince still on this whole, you know, woken thing and stuff now, and or broken, or, you know, there was a lot of delete chants, of course, and, you know, I saw the ICO Pro banner in the crowd, but I just I didn't understand this match. I don't know why it happened. It looked, this was just dumb. I'm sorry, I don't know, understand why Bray Wyatt beat Matt Hardy clean here. This was retarded. This really was. I had no clue. That was another thing that made me roll my eyes. And I heard Jeff did show up later on. I don't know, maybe it was a pre-tape Bray with the APA, but they say he showed up to sing, fade away and classify yourself obsolete. They brought some of the women back, the Bella twins. I do not care for. I have no idea why Nikki Bella was in her gear for. You're not wrestling, so why are you in your gear? Maurice, who is pregnant. Kelly still looks good. Lillian Garcia, would have been good to see her announce again tonight. Jacqueline, still good. Tori Wilson, yeah, still look great. Michelle McCool, Terry Runnels, Maria, which is also pregnant, and Trish Stratus. Didn't see Lita, but we got Trish, who got a very big pop in the crowd. So that's a really they gave some great applause out there. They got some pop. So it was good to see a lot of those women back on the show tonight. And I'm sure some of them will probably just show up in the Rumble. I'm sure Trish may show up in the Rumble, or maybe Tori Wilson, or Jacqueline, or Kelly, Michelle McCool. God forbid the Bella Twins show up in this thing. But, they had their little segment. Elias was walking to the stage until Chris Jericho showed up wearing his Alpha Club, the man that just went against Kenny Omega at Wrestle Kingdom 12 not that long ago, and will be going against Tetsuya Naito pretty soon, as he talked about Elias' scars, because Jericho had scars, and sang him a song with his own guitar, and said that Elias made the list and called him a stupid idiot. So we got a little one-off thing from Jericho, but I'm looking more forward to the match with Tetsuya Naito in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Elias was in the ring and sang, telling his introduction, Walk with Elias, and Jimmy Fallon was there, as he kind of took shots at Austin, Taker, Jericho, and Jimmy Fallon. And John Cena shows up, and now we're loud, and pretty much talk about the beach ball. And as soon as he said the beach ball, the bullshit security took the beach ball away, unfortunately, and people said asshole, but Cena said something else like, the Big Apple, I gotta keep it PG. Elias told him to shut his mouth, no one wants to hear from you, and you ruined my song. And Cena says, why don't you do something about it then? And as he was about to go, Cena was about to go against Elias backed down, and he tried to go back at Cena, but Cena did his, 5 moves of doom until he tried to hit the FU. Elias dodged it, hit him in the nuts, pretty much went Jeff Jarrett style guitar on him, and hit him with the drift away. So some people believe this is, the replacement, since Samoa Joe was hurt in a foot injury. Elias is the replacement Samoa Joe was supposed to be, and we'll see these two do something in the Rumble. We went back to the APA again, their office, as Slater was losing more money. Dana Brooks said he was cheating, and as they were about to fight, Bradshaw pretty much said, hey, we're civilized people, not barbarians. He says, y'all want to fight? Y'all fight in the ring. As DiBiase had a royal flush and took all the money, Ron Farouk pretty much said, damn, and walked off. Mark Henry, which we haven't seen in a while, saw Godfather, introduced a woman named Olivia, and, Godfather said that was his wife, not one of his hoes. So it's not like we're making no whole train anyway on the show. We didn't even say the whole thing. And I'll say things about the Austin thing too. We even see Stephanie McMahon get started. That would have been great to see, but we can't hit women anymore on the show. Back then we could, but no, we cannot do it at this point in time. And we got another forgettable match coming up. But it was good to see Godfather, Mark Henry, a little bit of that nation. Titus O'Neil and Apollo Crews went against Heath Slater and Rhino, which it was a no contest. Next thing you know, the Dudleys came out. I believe Bully Ray is still with Ring of Honor. And they came out, and pretty much Rhino threw him back in, Slater back in, because ECW, that's why they did the What's Up thing. They got the tables and a 3D. So it was good that the Dudleys came out, because the crowd later starting to lose it, and they did chant ECW. AJ Styles showed up, and he brought somebody he wanted to be interviewed by, Mean Gene Okerlund, about what's going to happen at the Royal Rumble and how he's going to be Cammy in the handicap match, pretty much Cammy as in for Kevin Owens and Sammy, and he will still be the champion. Back at the Manhattan Center, DX came out because they had glow sticks, and his fans chanted their name. Michael said, with all these moves, 25 years, I can't even remember anything 25 minutes. As Michael says, I used to be the boss of this group, and Triple H is now the boss of everything, pretty much. And talked about the fans in the building, and they couldn't tell any stories. And Shawn Michaels tried to plug the WWE Network, but the fans immediately booted that for the cheap plugs. And Triple H says, we walked out here every week with Rick Rude and Chyna. It was glad that they said their names. That's, still kind of sucks that Chyna is not here anymore. It would have been great to see her back, but, just couldn't be, unfortunately. So RIP to Chyna. But DX was here, and they said we did everything. We drove a tank into WCW for this war. So let me get face Triple H tonight instead of heel face Triple H or authority Triple H. We had DX Triple H. And, it's the Manhattan Center. This is the first ever Raw, and we'll be the forefront for the next 25 years. And we didn't come alone, as the New Age Outlaws came out. Great to see the Outlaws as usual. I just love saying their chant, of course. Tag Team Champions of the World. The Road Dogg. Yeah, I'm not going to go the whole thing, but the New Age Outlaws introduction. Triple H doing the introduction, DX. And, they said they didn't come alone. X-Pac came out. I don't know why they didn't play his Make Some Noise theme song. I didn't know why they didn't do that. But as we had all the DX out there, all DX members, it's a DX reunion, but we brought out the bad guy himself. We know Kevin Nash couldn't make it, but Scott Hall or Razor Ramon came out. And he did, hey, yo, the bad guy is back. And, everything is just too sweet until the club or Bullet Club, or if you want to call them, come out. Finn Balor, Gallows, and Anderson, as they all were in the ring, and it's the Click, and pretty much the Balor Club did the Too Sweet, and even fans did the Too Sweet, whoop whoop, Too Sweet, whoop whoop. Marty Scurll and stuff, which I know, I get it's the club or Bullet Club, but yeah, some people say that Gallows and Anderson haven't done anything now, but now we're supposed to take them seriously since they aligned them with Finn and stuff. But now we just kind of got this whole, since they all do the Too Sweet anyway, the Click and kind of like the Bullet Club, which the real Bullet Club can't even do the Too Sweet anymore, by the way. They had to do One Sweets now, but as they did their Too Sweet thing, the Revival came out, and I kind of knew it was going to happen, a Revival. They were buried. Okay, Revival was buried. I didn't really watch what was going on with this match against Gallows and Anderson. I just know they won. And then pretty much all DX members, as they celebrate, they start beating up the Revival with Scott Hall throwing a toothpick at him, and X-Pac did the X Factor on, it was Dawson. Road Dogg did his punch thing. Billy Gunn did the famous deal. It looks in phenomenal shape, by the way. Shawn Michaels hit a super kick into a pedigree. He was on Dawson next. And then Finn did the coup de grace. And pretty much Billy Gunn said, of course, if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you. Suck it. And Triple H raised Finn Balor's arm. I was trying to put him over somehow. Listen, Manhattan City didn't get a lot tonight. They were just watching this show through the screen. We just saw a couple legends on here. And, some people thought the Dudley should have been in the Manhattan since that was kind of like ECW country. And DX should have been on the main at the Barclays Center. Even Taker. I don't even know why we had to have Matt Hardy versus Bray Wyatt there in that match. What the fuck was that? And as Kurt Angle came out, bringing out everybody for the Rumble. Pretty much all the legends we saw tonight and some other wrestlers. Strowman came out. Kane came out. Paul Heyman pretty much did his, this nostalgia trip is over. We're ready for a fight. And that, Lesnar's the most relevant person in the last 1,287 episodes of Raw. And he immediately takes out Strowman, and Strowman took out Kane. And then he F5 Kane. Strowman started beating up Lesnar then, throwing him around. And pretty much able to power slam through the table, which almost didn't break. And his music played. So it was a good segment to end it off. But, man, they did not make Kane look strong. They made Kane look weak throughout this entire build in a way. He immediately got knocked down in F5. He got no offense. Listen, they made Strowman look insane and look super strong, lifting over tables and production trucks and destroying Raw, but he ain't winning at the Rumble this Sunday. We know Brock's gonna win, but good God, could you make Kane look that weak? Jesus Christ, that was bad. You could have made him look a little bit strong. What the hell was that? And then again, I don't even know why Kane is in this match. But dude, we know Brock's winning, okay? We just know. Listen, and overall this show, when you look at this entire show, how can I say this? I enjoyed a lot of things on here, of course. Don't get me wrong, but as in you kind of looking through this whole show. Listen, we saw hella people come back, okay? Legends, people we haven't seen in a long time, tag teams, all that stuff from both places. But JR and the King, I would have loved it. I would have heard JR and the King on commentary more than that. They could have been on the main show doing commentary. That's what I would have wanted to see. But I do feel this show kind of peaked after the Austin and Vince segment. Some may even go out on a limb and say Raw 1000 was better than the 25th anniversary. We see a lot of people. Yes, we did. Did we get bullshit matches though? Hell yeah, we saw a lot of bullshit matches tonight. And not a lot of build into the Royal Rumble also when you look at it. So I don't know. You could say it was good or bad or just a nostalgia trip, but they could have built more into the Rumble. I expected to see a giant brawl leading into the Rumble, but I don't really care about another Miz title reign. I really don't. Roman, which almost made me feel like Roman's going to win the Rumble now for some reason in main event WrestleMania. Then again, I've thought about this now. Even if somebody wins the Rumble, are they really going to main event WrestleMania? Or is Roman going to main event WrestleMania for the fourth, fifth time in a year now in a row? Let's really think about that, people. Undertaker is just a mystery to me now. What he said, we'll just have to find out and see. DX would have buried the fucking Revival. Club, Bullet Club, DX, all of DX, whatever. So, yeah, in a way, the Manhattan Center didn't get as much, but at least they got a couple big names. Everything else just was kind of there. It was great to see some people back, but there were just some things that just kind of started to drag along, folks. It really did. But I did enjoy some parts of Monday Night Raw. I enjoyed the Austin and Vince segment. Really great. I really did. Strowman looks strong, but I don't think he's winning. He's not going to win this Sunday. I enjoyed DX and saying the New Age Outlaws introduction like usual. So yeah. So and we could, some people thought I was gonna be more surprised if we thought we saw The Rock, or other people we didn't. So yeah, that's the Monday Night Raw review, folks. This is the 25th anniversary. If you enjoyed it, hey, just tell me if you did or not. But like I said, we saw a lot of legends. So hey, if you smell what's cooking, or if that's the bottom line, or if you're not down with this review, then hey, we got 2 words for you: suck it, or whatever you want to go with. We didn't even see any Mick Foley there tonight. I was surprised Mick wasn't even there, even Bret Hart. I was glad to see the APA in the card segment. Hope they're gonna beat up everybody in the end, but hey, we saw who we needed to see on this show. But when you look at it, you just kind of look in hindsight. Like I said, the beginning was the best thing, the Austin and Vince segment. So yeah, but I'm out of here. I will see you guys later, and peace out. Comment and subscribe, review, all that. So peace.